ShowMeTheCurry.com. I'm Anuja.
And I'm Hital, and today we're making eggplant rolls.
And this is an Italian-inspired recipe, perfect for the vegetarians.
Right, so let's get started.
Yep. And here we have a medium-sized eggplant. It's approximately about a pound.
We have sliced our eggplant, and if you can see, they're very thin slices. So we took the eggplant and went this way, not this way, so you don't want round slices,
Right.
You want nice long slices. And these are going to be cooked and eventually rolled, so they need to be somewhat thin, but shouldn't be paper thin because it'll fall apart. What we're going to do with these slices is we have a colander here, and we'll put all these in here, and we're going to generously salt this.
And a couple of tips actually, when you're buying eggplants, of course, look for shiny skin. That's number one. Number two is, it shouldn't be very, very soft. If you touch it, you should be able to press it in, and it should bounce back. And then the third thing is the stem. This should, it shouldn't be very dry. It should be moist. That way, it's freshly been cut, and you got it fresh.
Now, the reason we're salting the eggplant, there's two reasons. The first is that the salt pulls out all the water from the eggplant, and the bitterness, if there is any in the eggplant, goes out with the water. The second, most important reason is that when you salt the eggplant, there's a lot of air bubbles in here, and it's very spongy. So when you salt it, and eventually we're going to rinse this out, but you squeeze all the water and the salt out of here, and it collapses those little pockets of air in there. And what that does is that when you're cooking your eggplant, it prevents the oil from soaking into the eggplant.
Right.
So.
And another very good reason why we salt it is eggplant tends to change color, when you leave it out. So the salting prevents that, and you still have, decent looking ones, not very,
Brown
and ugly looking.
That's true.
So yeah, you want your food to look good.
So the water is already coming out of this, I can see, but we're going to leave this for at least half an hour. If you have an hour, perfect. We're going to let it alone, and we'll get back here and then rinse this off.
So it's been 1 hour since the eggplant has been sitting in the salt.
And sweating. Yeah.
A lot.
and a lot of liquid and water has come out from it, so quite a bit.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to rinse off all the salt, and then we'll be back. So we've rinsed off all the salt from the eggplant. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and squeeze out some of the water, and if it comes out, great. If it doesn't, just use some paper towel and just blot it so that it doesn't have a whole lot of moisture left in it.
So while Anuja is doing that, I'm going to work on our filling for the eggplant rolls. Now we have some ricotta cheese that we're going to use, and a good way to measure how much you need is depending on how many slices of eggplant you have. You can take a heaping teaspoon, and by teaspoon I mean not a measuring spoon, but an actual teaspoon that we use. A heaping teaspoon of ricotta cheese per slice of eggplant. So we have roughly about 14 or 15 of them, so I'm going to take that much. So into our ricotta cheese, we have some garlic salt, and all of these ingredients are to taste depending on how much ricotta cheese we're using. So just taste it along the way if you need to. We have some Italian seasoning, black pepper, some crushed red chilies, and we have some fresh green chilies. And finally we have some chopped fresh parsley and fresh basil. And give that a really good mix and let all the flavors blend together.
We have a skillet. This is a long one, but a round one will also work just as well. We have a skillet, and it's on medium heat. And what we're going to do is we're going to just drizzle a little bit of oil on it. Now, if you want to be very, very careful, you can just use some pan,
which is the spray cooking oil.
And we're just going to kind of just spread it out a little bit. And we're going to layer the eggplant on this.
So once they're all laid flat on this pan, we're going to cook both sides. Now the eggplant has to be fully cooked before we take it off, because even though we're baking this in the oven, it's not going to cook anymore in the oven. So make sure the eggplant is fully cooked.
Now the eggplants are very thin, so you can actually see the color changing on this side as well, and we're going to just oil it a little bit on this side.
Now these are pretty thin, so they will cook, relatively fast.
And we're going to flip them around. Perfect. Beautiful, yes. Right, and we're going to let it cook from the bottom side again to the same color.
So our eggplant is cooked really nicely on both sides, and we've switched off our stove, and we're going to let it cool down for just a few minutes, just enough so we can handle it with our hands. Our eggplant slices are nice and cool. We can touch them now without burning our hands. So what we're going to do is the wider side of the eggplant, we're going to put a spoon of our mixture, ricotta cheese mixture, there. And then we'll just make a nice little roll.
And also we have got an oven-proof dish over here, and we have slightly just taken a pan and just again cooking spray and just sprayed a little bit so it doesn't get burned to the bottom. All right.
Mm-hmm. And we can layer these rolls.
Wow, so
there.
cute.
So we just repeat the process. Just take each slice, put a heaping teaspoon of your mixture, and roll it up.
Oops, a little too much, but that's okay.
I think it'll be fun. And if it's oozing out a little bit, that's okay too. And be sure you start from the wide side, because if you start from the narrow side, you're not going to get as much filling into the eggplant.
This looks so pretty. Look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, very cute. And here we have some pasta sauce. You can use any variety you want or you like.
Or you can make it at home if you prefer and if you have the time.
And we're just going to spoon it on here. The bottom line is you need to make sure there's enough sauce so that the eggplant does not dry out. So we'll just take a brush and we'll just spread it out.
Now our tray is going into our preheated oven. Again, it's 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to cook this for about 25 to 30 minutes. Bottom line is we're heating everything. Everything is already cooked, but we're heating that cold cheese all the way through so that our dish is nice and warm when we eat it. So we'll put that in, and we'll finish it off with the cheese a little bit later.
So eggplant rolls are out of the oven and they look fantastic. They bake for about 20 minutes or so. And again, it's all cooked, so you just want the ricotta cheese to warm up. That's what you're looking for. And but everybody's ovens are different, so please keep an eye on them.
And our final step for this, we have some mozzarella cheese. Just sprinkle it on top. Of course, as much as you like.
To taste.
Yes. And we're going to finish this off in our broiler, high heat, only from the top, just to melt the cheese. So our eggplant rolls are out of the oven, and they look yummy, delicious. It took just a couple of minutes to brown, because again, that broil is high heat from the top. So don't put it in there and take off. You need to keep a very close eye on it, because it'll burn, definitely.
Right.
But beautiful.
And yeah, to end it off, we've got saved a little bit of garnish, the basil and the parsley garnish. Look at it. Absolutely wonderful.
Now this is a full meal if you put some garlic bread with it, a little bit of salad maybe, or maybe some soup, and you have an entire delicious meal.
Right, it just looks so good. But for a lot of people who don't want to, either can't find ricotta cheese, or it's not available, or don't have it, you can Indianize this whole recipe, and instead of the ricotta cheese, use some paneer. Just you might have to mash it up a little bit well, maybe with a little bit of either cream or milk or something, or butter, and you can add in your own spices, like mint and green chilies, and add in some fresh garlic, and I think it'll be just a fabulous twist to this whole recipe.
A good variation, definitely.
Yes. So let's have lunch. So join us again in another episode of ShowMeTheCurry.com.
Adding a pinch of spice to your life.